Welcome anyone to the Gaming Chamber podcast episode. What is it? 43, I think. I'm going to say it's 43. I'm not remembering. I'm your host, Everett, aka Two Beasts to Kill You, aka the Beast with the Least. Only a two-man team this week. Joining me, Devin, for the podcast.
Just like always. Old reliable. That's what they call me.
You're not old just yet, but you'll get there. Yeah,
Well,
unfortunately, JJ had something come up, so he will not be with us this week.
yeah, his dick. Am I right, guys?
I don't even I don't even fully
Get it?
understand what you're like, how that's a
Because
joke.
he,
But
because he said something came up.
no, I got it.
It's
But
an erection. It's an
I,
erection.
I
It's an
got I
erection
got it's an
joke.
erection joke. I don't understand why. Okay. Great way to start off the podcast. We have an
You're welcome.
erection joke right off
Mm-hmm.
in the first minute. We're already talking about dicks,
As it should be.
as it should be. Right off the bat, talk about dicks. All right. We've had kind of an eventful week recently with video games, but not a lot of gaming news outside of the two big things. Maybe three big things, I guess, right? Because Avowed would be the other thing for early access, I guess, with
Yeah,
reviews
speaking
and
of
all.
Avowed, I need to start that pre-down. I need to download that.
Oh, you know what? You could actually play it already. I went ahead and spent the
Oh,
$23.
well. Oh, gotcha. Well, nah.
So I was actually going to start that today. So maybe next week I'll have some, or not maybe next week. Next week I'll have some impressions on the game. Probably a review the week after. We'll see what happens. I want to start doing more with my own personal channel. Um, and along with doing this gaming chamber podcast. But that's a whole other thing. Let's see. So, Devin, it's been a week since our last podcast. What's been new?
Played a little bit of Dragon Age. Just a real quick tangent on Dragon Age. Like I'd mentioned, like last week, I got it on GameStop. It was on sale, and then like I did like in-store pickup, but it was kind of hilarious. Like I did or pickup, so I paid for it online. Go in there, and I show them my order number, and they just hand me the game. And I was like, in my head, I'm like, well, I used to work here. I'm like, it seems like you probably might still need to like scan it into the system, like say like yes, this person picked it up or whatever. They didn't do that. So then GameStop just like they're like, looks like you didn't pick up your game, so we sent you a refund. So I got Dragon Age for free. So that was pretty
Damn,
sweet. Um,
that's pretty funny.
uh, yeah, like I was willing to pay 22.50. I got like because 10%. I got like 22.50. So I was like, I was willing to pay that for the game. But free's even better for game that's only a few months old. So I played that for a little bit. I feel like I need to update the camera settings or something because I feel like the camera's like floaty. And that's like bothering me.
Really.
Like the first hour in. Yeah, I feel like it's floaty. So I don't know. Could just be me. But played that more Balatro and we've played some Gears. So that's been my life.
Interesting, interesting. Me, I we played some Gears, like you said. But actually, the thing that I've been playing, or not, have been playing, I played some of because I don't know why they did it this way. I really don't understand why they were like so just weird with the playtest hours. The Elden Ring Night Rain network test. I only was able to. I mean, I could be playing right now. As of right now, when we're recording this podcast, they're in the final playtest session, and I was gonna play while we were doing the podcast, but I feel like I know what the game is, and I'm gonna enjoy it enough. But yeah, I played it on Friday during their second testing phase. Um, yeah,
Wait,
so
so today's the last playtest day?
yeah, it's from 7 to 10
All right.
p.m.
No, I'm just
Uh,
deleting it.
yeah, you could go ahead and delete it if you have it on your console. Um, apparently the that first one that was 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. like nobody could get in. The servers were all fucked. But when I played
God,
from the
imagine
seven.
staying up late and then just like
I know,
not
right?
even being able to fucking play.
I know. But you know, yeah, I liked it. But I'm gonna say it's not an it's not a Souls like. Like there's Souls like obviously it's a Souls like if you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
you know with the way it plays and certain elements or whatever. But like this game, from what I've played so far, you know, obviously the full game's not out till May 30th, which they did have that release trailer or that release date trailer. So that's pretty cool. We know when it's coming out, May 30th. Um, but you know, maybe in the full game it does play. You know, there's still some more elements to be seen about like, or not about, but like that shows. Okay, no, this is a Souls game, just different enough or something. I don't know. Um, but yeah, like there's like an actual sprint, not just like the hold B and you run forward and you could dodge with it. Like if you click in the left stick, you start sprinting, like an actual like just
Mm.
you book it. And I guess you know so you can move around. I mean because it's the way it works is you're thrown into a part of the map of Elden Ring or just like something they made up or whatever. I think the place is called Limveld or some shit like that. I'm not remembering. And it's just yeah, it's a map like oh, you know, I kind of want to get this game on PC actually because the way the map is. It seems like this could with mods they could turn this into an actual battle royale because it does that. Like you're on like this like spectral hawk falcon or whatever it is to start the session and it just drops you. You from what I played, I don't know, I got like maybe 5 or 6 sessions in. It seems to drop you like in the same spot. So I don't know if like maybe if that's supposed to be different or something because I could have sworn that I heard there was supposed to be some element of randomness in this game, but I don't know. But yeah, it does matchmaking. So you're forced, well maybe not forced, but like you're supposed to play with 3 players. This game is clearly like oh you need to have people or whatever the way it is because there's a lot like not a lot of enemies, but there's enough enemies that if you went in by yourself, you're not doing anything. And there is a good amount of like where you're fighting dual bosses or something. But yeah, it just drops you in the map, and then that's it. You're running around. You could collect stuff. You know, there's weapons to get, and each weapon has like, you know, there's like, uh, you know, like lower tier and then like legendary tier and stuff like that. It's just I think there's like 4 different tiers to collective weapons. So obviously, if you get a better tier weapon, you can. I think master is the highest. You know, they do more damage. They have different like abilities and stuff like that. Plus there's I think there's supposed to be 8 in the final game, but they only had 4 class. There's classes. I played as the Wilder, which is more just like the regular ass melee class. Like you get a a great sword and you can just go around and like okay that's it. You just attack. There was a bird one. I'm not remembering what it's called. um, he had like a spear. There's a bird character. I mean, he has like a spear
Gotcha.
or whatever, or halberd. Then there's I think it's called the Duchess, which is basically like an assassin character, and then a mage, which I think is called the Recluse. I only played as the Wilder. You know me, I just want to melee. I just want to, you know, unga bunga, just attack. Um,
Hmm.
but he has like they have abilities too. I don't know what the other characters' abilities are, but for the Wilder, he has like a hook shot thing. Um, you know, help move around and stuff like that. One of the cool things about the game is that like there's no fall damage. So when you're running around, if you just jump off a cliff, you just roll. And if you
Yeah, I
want to get
saw that, which is
yeah.
pretty nice.
And also there's like some form of wall climbing. You can't just like climb up a you know, a mountain. There is like things like little like spots around the map where it's like, oh, it's going to make your character jump high up in the air and everything. But you can like climb over walls, you know, and stuff. And they clearly like built out certain areas where it's like, oh, since you can't just straight up climb up the wall like that, you could just climb up this part, then climb up this part, then climb up this part to get up to, you know, where you need to get to and everything. Um, Yeah. No, I like what I played so far. Like I said, it is Elden Ring in maybe a surface level. If someone were to be like, well, how does like a Souls like gameplay? Well, okay, it's hard. You got dodge roll, and the combat feels weighty and stuff like that. But it does feel like maybe they just have the Elden Ring name on this because it's a popular enough name to add on to this. Like this could have just been any game from Software. Like, oh, this is just called like Night Rain. Like, oh, it's just called Night Rain, and it's just a game they made. But it does seem like the Elden Ring name was tacked onto it, which I don't
So,
know. I mean, I'm fine with that. Like, I like FromSoft games, so it's not that it's a bad game. It's not bad. I very much enjoy, but it does feel like this. It probably might get like sevens when the game comes out. It does feel like this could be a game where sevens are going to be the thing. But I'm not even really explaining too. So I kind of got off on a bit of a tangent there. Yeah, when you're dropped in, so yeah, you go around, collect stuff, you do what you do, you fight enemies. The level up system is different now. You don't just like choose what you want to level up. You just level up and your stats go up, kind of like a more just like a standard RPG stuff. You can get different weapons. You can carry up to like 4 items, so healing stuff, bombs, the fire greases, things to put on the armor or the weapon coating stuff and things like that. But every so often you'll find like bosses around the map, and you kill them, and then you could get like they'll drop weapons or like a buff, like oh you get 25% damage negation or your physical attack goes up and stuff like that. Plus like you go around, there's like bases where you can kill the enemies there, and then there's chests. You get weapons there and items. You carry like three right armaments and 3 left armaments, so if you want like 3 shields or 6 weapons or 6 shields, and or any combination of, you can do that. I think there's like 2 slots for like amulets or whatever they are. I'm forgetting what it was. Um, and then I think so. The game is supposed to be like your. It probably is like like expects you to basically each session is like an hour long. So it drops you in. You're doing what you're doing, like what I was saying. You're collecting stuff and all that stuff. But then eventually the map, it's called the Night Rain or the Rain or whatever it is. I don't know. It's basically like your standard battle royale stuff where the map is getting smaller. It's a circle that's going in on you, and obviously if you're outside of the circle, you're taking damage. But it eventually funnels you into one spot where you fight like a boss. But before you fight the boss, you do fight like some enemies, like their minions, I guess. I fought, I think, one of those golden hippopotamuses as a boss. Oh no, it was a demon centipede, which I think is from Demon Souls 2 or something, right? I don't remember. I mean, we saw in the trailer they're gonna have like, or not Demon,
they're
Dark
gonna have
Souls 2.
all of them.
They're gonna have bosses from like the other Souls games. I don't know why I said Demon Souls. I meant Dark Souls 2. Um, that might actually be Dark Souls 1. There's a lot of bosses. So then, yeah, you fight the boss, you beat the boss, and then you start day 2. The only thing is that sucked is that like I'm still learning how some of these mechanics work, because you can like level up your gear and everything, but I couldn't really find stuff or like the spots to level up the gear, so I couldn't get past like the second boss or day 2. But from the things I've seen online, like videos I've watched and people playing this game online, once you get past day 2, you just straight up go to the final boss of the session. Which for the network test, it was a 3-headed like wolf. I don't remember what it's called. I think it's called Gladius or something. And then I'm assuming that's it. Like the session is over. You do get like when you lose, when like if you die. Oh, one of the cool things is, so like if you don't die. Like, I mean, you do die, but like you get knocked down. So you get knocked. in a sense, and
Hmm.
so like let's say you and I are playing, and I get down. What you do is you'll have to run up to me, or let's say you're playing as a mage and just throw magic at me. You have to damage me, and then I get back up. And I don't think you get all your health back. You just get a portion of your health back, but you do get some of your Estus flasks back. I think maybe one charge or something, because you do get Estus flasks. I think it gives you 3 to start out with, but you could like find spots around the map to like add extra charges and everything. Um, and then like there's like a little timer too. So like you're not. I'm not gonna. If I get down, I'm not gonna just be down the whole time. Like I have a certain amount of time. If you die, you do lose a level, so you get weaker basically. Um, and they do have the like you could get your stuff back when you if you go back to where you died or whatever. Um, yeah, and then there's also like you'll see like a little health bar above you when you're down, so that shows you how much like damage I would need to take before I'm back up and stuff. Um, yeah, no, like I said, I enjoyed it. I only played maybe I don't know an hour and a half or something. Uh, like I'm my gameplay is the gameplay I'm using for the podcast. Um, I'm not that great, but
Duh.
I mean that's the whole point. That's my shtick. I'm trash at games. I'm trash at games. But yeah, it's a game that like I could see like you like especially it's you, me, and JJ. Like there's 3 of us. It's perfect. We all played the Souls games. Remember what a couple years ago or whatever it was when we did the basically the Souls playthroughs. This is just another Souls game for us to all play together, and it is an easy way. Like they do make it easy to play with each other. I saw like they just had the like like just have the password and you'll be able to just find each other. Like because when you start the game, you're not like starting a session. You're like in the round table area, and then you just go up to the table, press Y, and then search for a match, basically, or whatever. But like I said, the way the game is designed, because like it's a map that like if you look at it, because you could press the back button or not the back button, the whatever menu. I forgot what it's called. Is it called the back button still?
I don't know what it's called. We're
That
old
left.
school gamers, man. It's the back button, bro.
Well, select would be me
Oh.
if I were going like
Well,
start and
you're
select.
ancient.
Yeah, I'm ancient. I'm going because remember on the 360 and stuff. It was the back button. I don't remember. I don't know what they call it nowadays. I'd have to look at the controller. That little windowed one. Anyway, I think it's called menu actually, or no, not menu. Uh, fuck whatever. The back button. You press that and you bring up the map. Whatever. If you look at it, it looks like if you were like on a battle royale. So that's why I'm saying I'm like I might kind of want to play it on PC. Like I might try and get it on PC. Like I'll get it on the Xbox for sure, but I might try and buy it like if it goes on sale for like $20. Might want to buy it on PC because I am 1000% sure that there's going to be at least 100 mods that make a battle royale in this game because
Yeah,
like it's going to
probably.
happen. It's going to happen. Like the way the game is designed, like you can for sure make this into a battle royale. Even the way the game is, where it's like okay, you can maybe you could get rid of the classes, or maybe just keep the classes, and you have the weapons you have, but you can level up by gaining runes and attacking people, and you can level up mid match. But there you could go to the bases, and there's chests to get new weapons, like a battle royale where there's stuff to get on the map during the match, so you could get stronger weapons, and eventually the map shrinks down to a certain spot, and you only have so many people. Can you imagine like a 60? Like it doesn't even have to be 100 people. Like 60 people in running around killing the fuck out of each other on this in a Souls like game until one man is left or a woman. We're not sexist here. Maybe sexist a little bit, but no. Yeah, like so. I don't know. Like the only thing that sucks is that like I know maybe if I told JJ to do it, he probably would get it on PC, but I know you would not get it on PC because you're not a PC guy. I mean, I'm not either, but like I said,
Is it cross-platform?
I don't think it's gonna be cross anything.
Gotcha.
Like I was Elden Ring cross player, cross platform.
Mm.
I don't think so. So
No, but I mean, I don't know. I guess they could change that now. I have no idea.
I don't know. Yeah, like I said, I might want to just buy myself a copy like at some point when it's like $20 on PC, just so I could. Because like I said, there's going to be like hundreds of mods. It's just at some point you got to find the best one that's you know. There's going to be one that like stands out above the rest as this is your battle royale for a Souls like game. Yeah, no, I mean, I wish you would have played it. I mean, we could, like I said, we could have been maybe even playing it now, but oh well. I'm not like we'll play it when it comes out. So
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not. I don't know. Betas, I just like I'll watch like gameplay and just hear people talk about them, but it's just like I don't know. So if I spend all that time in there, like you don't really get rewarded for doing that. You're just, I mean, like yeah, you're helping to make sure the game's gonna come out and be good, but like I don't know, all the shit you've done won't matter. It just kind of stinks, but
yeah, I miss the days when like developers would be like, oh yeah, we noticed that you played our beta or whatever. Here's like at least a free skin. Like remember the Gears of War 3 beta? If you just played it, you got like extra stuff for
yeah.
for the actual release. And then the Gears 5 beta too. Like remember they had you could get like a what was it? I think it's for the Nasher, Lancer, and the Snub pistol. They had like yeah, it's called like Tester, the skin, the weapon skins. I miss those days. Oh, I think Gears of War 3 had the best like system for getting weapon skins and stuff and character skins. Like not from the actual playing of the game, like from like other sources where it's like, oh, you played on Gears of War PC? Well, here's a freaking set of weapon skins for you. You played Gears of War 1 and you have an achievement from Gears of War 1? Okay, here you go. We have a Gears of War 2 achievement as well? Yeah, here's some more stuff. Like I just very much enjoyed that they did that. They're like, yeah, no, here you go. Here you go.
I
Not a lot of
know.
games do that
That's
nowadays.
yeah, I don't know. That's just like I don't know. The 360, like PS3, that era, like that was like the golden age of gaming. Really, just it just really was.
You know, I don't
Dude, it
think it's
was.
like
That was like well, we got to live through like the nice thing is, I mean, like we got to live through like the golden age of gaming. Like we got to enjoy like obviously the Atari. Like if you just think obviously this is a tangent, but like you get to think back, like the Atari, those people played like games or whatever, and it's just
no,
like yeah,
no.
it's cool. You get to be there for the beginning, but like
I
we
do
got to
think
be
you're
there for
right.
like the NES. We got to be there for the NES, like SNES, the N64, the PlayStations, like the Xbox when it came along. We got to be there when like LAN parties were a thing, and like I don't know, like we get to live through like the coolest era. Like games are still obviously fun now, and there's cool things about obviously, but like I don't know, it's a lot more
Well,
capitalistic now and
I mean, you're not
bullshit
getting
like that.
when you now the current climate because game development is so expensive. I think it is a thing of like it's hard for because yeah, even if you just even take that like from 2005 to like what 2013 when Xbox One and PlayStation 4 came out. So if you just take the 360 PS3 generation, you had a lot of like just absolute like legendary games and legendary series born in that era. Like that's when the
Mm-hmm.
Gears of War series came out. You had Dead Space, Mass Effect. You had Halo 3, Halo Reach. You had Uncharted. You had God of War because that's 2005 or whatever. Even though it was a PlayStation 2 game, the first God of War game. But I think if I'm remembering this correctly, like God of War, they wanted to put it on the PS3, but They wanted to like, hey, we need as many people as possible to play this game. So PlayStation 2 makes
Yeah.
sense. And the PS3 wasn't even coming out yet. It came out in
Yeah.
2006.
The thing is, it's like the PS3 and 360, like, I don't know. If graphics never got better from that era, like, would we really be suffering? Like, obviously, games now look a lot better or whatever, but like, I don't know. Like Red Dead, the first Red Dead stuff, those games have aged pretty well. Like the really good ones, like God of War 3, like
No,
even if you didn't
yeah,
have like
no, you're
years,
right.
like
Like I played Red Dead Redemption, through the backwards compatibility. They did do some, like they have that like they kind of up res it a bit or whatever on the Xbox One, and then I played it on the Series X or whatever. It still looks good.
I know. But that's the thing is, it's just like if game and like I don't know, you have all these games out. It's like indie. It's like these indie games. Like it's cool to look kind of like retro and 8-bit. So to me, it's just like I don't know, like like again, like game developers, I think just need to realize like if games don't need you don't the next game that comes out doesn't need to look better than like the best game. It's not like okay, Last of Us 2 comes out and it's like okay, now we need to look even better than Last of Us. Okay, and then like Last of Us 2 comes out and you're like okay, we have to look better than that. It's like it's okay if you don't look as good as if it runs at a high frame rate. It's gonna look fine. Like we need to just chill. We've gone over this before, but like just fucking chill.
I think the frame rate should be focused on more because I think you're right. I remember when during the 360 era, and I would play Call of Duty. When I would play Call of Duty, but like then I'd go to switch to another game. I'm like, why does Call of Duty look better? And it's not that Call of Duty did
Hmm.
look better. It's just that it ran better because they were like, we're gonna run at 60 frames per second. I remember that. Like I was just like, this game looks better. And then there was another game that I was like, this game looks better than the other games, and it ran at 60 frames. I don't remember what it was. I really wish it was like some random
Maybe
game that
Crisis. I don't know.
no, it was some other. It was like some random 360 game that I was playing. I'm like, why does this game look so good? And it just happened to run at 60 frames.
Gotcha.
And at the time, we just didn't get a lot of games that ran at 60 frames per second. Like, yeah, I personally prefer 60 frames per second. Like, I remember when A Link Between Worlds was released on the 3DS, and it was gonna run it. They said it was gonna run at 60 frames. I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? That's great." And I remember playing that game at 60 frames per second. It ran at 60 frames, but like because of the 60 frames, and you could play it in 3D. Sometimes I was like, this looks like a little diorama in my 3DS. Like if I
Yeah.
look like I could actually touch like a little play set right here. It looked good. 60 frames just works better. I understand that they want to have as much detail and all stuff. Yeah, no, we rant about this. We rant about this way too much.
Yeah. I really do, Mr. Hat.
I really wish I could. I'm trying to remember that game that was 60 frames. I think it was like a what do you call it too? Like one of their arcade games or something. I'm actually looking it up, like what game ran at 60 frames. Like what games? Like I'm looking up a list of games that ran at 60 frames on the 360, and I am just so what I'm looking at right now. I don't think I remember the game.
Yeah, it's all good. It's not worth that much time.
No, no. Now I remember. It was a game that I played like on like GameCube or something. I think it was the Metal Gear Solid like remake. Uh, the Metal Gear Solid 1 remake. I think that's what it was. I think that might have ran at 60 frames. Fuck, I wish I could remember. I just remember I'm like, yes, that 60 frames just is better. Luckily, Elden Ring, Night Rain runs at 60 frames. It was getting a little
Thank
choppy
God.
at some points. It was getting well. I mean, like FromSoft clearly doesn't give a shit about making their games look like the absolute most beautiful ever. It's not like the games look like shit anyway. They look good. They've looked good for a while. They care. They clearly now care about performance of their games, which for their style of games makes more sense, and they should be caring about performance. With that said, yeah, the it, it was the network test. It's not the full game. At some points, I'm like, oh, this frame rate is dropping, but oh man, I don't know. You got anything else, or you want to add in, or you want to go ahead and move
Let's
on to
just let's move on,
to
nerd.
all right, all right. So wow, like I said, there's a couple eventful things. Like I said, we already talked about uh the Elden Ring thing, Night Rain test, so that's out of the way. None, and you know what? Real quick, Avowed came out early access on Friday, but I mean I bought it yesterday. You didn't even know. I haven't played it yet. You obviously haven't played it yet,
Well,
so
fucking told you not to buy it, and you
yeah.
still
But I
did.
well no okay. I wasn't going to. But then I was like, you know what? Because I was like, you know what? I don't need to buy it. The Elden Ring Night Rain test is going to be this weekend. But then I was like, wait a minute. I have nothing to play now because there wasn't going to be anything for me, like any of the Night Rain play tests or whatever yesterday. So I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to buy it to play it. And then I ended up going to go see the Captain America Brave New World movie. So
How was it?
uh, I actually very much enjoyed it. I mean, I could give a mini review.
I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it tomorrow. So,
So, okay, no spoilers. One of the things I really liked. Okay, you've watched Falcon and Winter Soldier, right?
yeah,
Okay, so I can spoil that. Spoilers for Falcon and Winter
like a
Soldier.
4-year-old show.
Yeah, 4-year old show. One of the things I really hated about Falcon and Winter Soldier, I get that, like, okay, now we have a black Captain America. Fine. I'm not one of those people who's like, Captain America is supposed to be Steve Rogers and white, blah, 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 blah.
Well, it
Especially
also
be-
is comic. Like those
it's
idiots
comic
would read
accurate.
a
It's
comic.
comic
Yeah.
accurate. It's not like they're just completely changing. I'm not one of those people. I'm one of those people like if you made Steve Rogers black, I'm like, dude, let's not do that. There's already a black. Like it's just like there was that talk that people were like, oh, they should make the next Superman should be black, and he should, and we're not. They're not going to change the name. It's still going to be Clark Kent. I'm like, or you could just I don't remember the character's name, but like you could just go with the actual black Superman that's in the comic books instead of like changing this character's race just to be diverse, like stuff like that. Or like if it was like I remember there was talk of like, oh, the next Spider-Man should be black, but it should be Peter Parker. I'm like, or you could go with Miles Morales, the actual like black and Hispanic Spider-Man. Like there is stuff like that. Or like yeah, anyways, yeah, I'm going off on a tangent. So yeah, so I understand. We have a black Captain America. The thing I hated about Falcon Winter Soldier was that they really it was ham fisted with their like, oh, America's kind of racist kind of stuff. And I'm like, no, America isn't racist. People are racist. Don't get me wrong. The individual can be racist, but to just be like blanket, like that kind of stuff gets to me because it sacrifices the story for certain things, you know, to be for the message. It sacrifices story for the message. And so like in certain parts of felt like Falcon and Winter Soldier that got to me where it's just like it takes me out of the story because it's like, oh, like there's a point where Bucky and Sam are arguing and these cops come up and like, is there a problem here? Clearly trying to be like, oh, this black guy's arguing with this white guy. And I'm just thinking in my head, I'm like, really? These cops don't know who the fucking Falcon is? It's not like, in the MCU, they don't really have uh, you know, secret identities. Everybody knows who these people are. Like, there's no way they don't know who one of the fucking Avengers is. Not only that, but he's like the best friend of the Avenger. You know, like just stuff like that. Or like with the Isaiah Bradley character who does show up in the movie. like when like oh he was like one of the first people to be to have the super soldier serum, but America didn't want a black Captain America, so then I was cast aside. Like no, that's not what it was. Like clearly, in if you've watched the first Avenger movie, it was about like a there's something more than just being a good soldier. That's why we're choosing you to be Captain America. Like that's what it was. But in the Brave New World movie, none of that. Maybe like a few things like kind of hinted at, but they do not do that. They just were like, let's do this and let's just have a good action movie. It is more of a generic action like superhero movie. They try to have like a mystery, you know, of like what's going on, who's actually running or who's pulling the strings with this. But you know, nothing too like. There's nothing like stupid. I mean, the only thing that I guess I would like, what's the word? Like, I don't know. Not that I don't like it, but it's just like I could have done without. Is that they really, really, really tried to be like, this is Captain America now. This is Captain America. Like, you know how in the movies they didn't always call Captain America Captain America. They would call him Steve. A lot of times they called him Steve. They
Yeah.
don't do that. Like everybody calls him Cap. Nobody really calls him Sam. It's like everyone's like Captain America, Cap. It's like we get it. He's Captain America now, but you don't have to like don't worry. We know they do. And there is one point where they kind of like they do the thing that I don't really like about modern movies nowadays, where they try to like kind of not character assassinate Captain America per se, but like movies do this where they try to like it is almost a character assassination of older like legacy characters, and they have like a line where it's like oh obviously minor spoilers for a movie. There's one point where the main character's doubting himself, duh, like in every fucking movie. So a character tells him like, "Oh, Steve gave everyone something to hope for. You gave them something to aspire to." It's like, what the fuck does that mean? Are you trying to just be like, you know, you're somehow like, I don't know. To me, that they didn't have to do that. They could have just been like, because one of the big points of the movie is that he doesn't know if he could fill the shoes of Captain America and everything. So you could just they could have just been like, no, you can do it. You can fill the shoes. You are good enough. I don't think they had to be like you give them something to aspire to because they're basically like, oh no, you're the only choice for this job or something. I don't know. But other than that, like I said, there's a few things I have with the movie, but other than that, I'd give it a solid like 7.5 out of 10.
Nice.
And maybe it does help that I had free tickets that I got from my job to go see the movie, so I didn't have to pay what is it, fucking like $18 for a ticket now or some shit nowadays. I don't even know. So, but yeah, I don't know if you want to see a superhero movie that you can't do wrong with this one. I think especially what like Marvel's been putting out recently. Like I have not liked anything they've been putting out except for like Deadpool and Wolverine. Like everything they've been putting out kind of just sucks. I've not liked like any of their shows, Disney Plus shows. I think I kind of liked WandaVision, but it just kind of fell apart for me at the end. Like,
Yeah, I think the Disney Plus show is going to get better moving forward just because like they're under Feige. I feel like he wasn't really paying attention as much to the shows, but I feel like those are going to get better now. Like not like anytime soon, but like
I
soonish they'll get better.
don't know. We'll see what happens. But yeah. We were supposed to start the news, and we haven't done that yet because we started talking about Avowed. So yeah. This all circles back to we'll talk about Avowed next week. Let's go ahead and move to the news now. Finally. Let's start out with this one. Resident Evil 5 has been rated for the Series X.
Prove it.
Well, there's a GameStop listing, I think, or just a listing in general. I'm seeing this. It says GameStop, GameFly, Target, like all the major uh, stores or whatever. It's been rated by the ESRB. Now, I don't know. Do you think this is like just going to be an upres, or do you think this is an imminent like announcement coming for a full-on remake like they've been doing?
I don't think. I mean, does it really? Do we need a remake of like Resident Evil 5? I mean, I guess that they could. I mean, they could make it better, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just don't feel like it needs like a full on like Resident Evil. I mean, like Resident Evil 4 really didn't need a whole full. So if they want to like change it up or whatever and
Well, I
do some
mean,
things, go
it,
for it.
they can still do the remake because it did do the thing. As far as I mean, it's been, when did it come out? Like 2010, 2009, maybe 2011, within those few years. So it
Yeah, I
was
mean, Resident Evil 5, yeah, it came out when I was at GameStop, so yeah, it had to come out in between that time
like
frame.
about 15ish years ago or whatever.
Yeah,
I want to say 2009.
that might be right.
Yeah, that could be it, but I'll look it up while I'm talking about this. But like, if I'm remembering correctly, I don't think it has like the ability to like move around while you're aiming and stuff. I don't really remember. I'm probably wrong on that one, but I mean that's where you could improve, like just how the game feels, actual gameplay and
Yeah,
stuff like
I
that.
think you can
2009,
move and shoot
released
now,
in
right?
2009. It came out in 2009.
Okay. That was like my first start at
So
GameStop.
they could just update it where it plays more like, well, the Resident Evil 2 and 3 and 4 remakes. If that's what it is, I don't know. I mean, they already have like that upres that they released on the
Yeah,
Xbox One and PlayStation 4. I think, with how they've been remaking all their games, I think it's just better if they just do that. Make a full-on Resident Evil 5 remake. You just improve the gameplay a bit. And I think have two sections where you punch a rock. A boulder. Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
yes.
I mean,
That's definitely the necessary part to
that's
fucking
necessary.
upgrade.
Yes, yes. I mean, yeah, I mean, regardless, like, so if it's a remake, are you more inclined to want to play it though? If it's over just an
I'm,
upres?
I'm on. I mean, if it's an upres, it would depend on the price. If it's just an upres, if it's a remake, then yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm excited. I mean, like I've been enjoying like the remakes they've been doing, but yeah. I mean, if they make quality of life improvements and call it a remake or whatever, then yeah.
Sign me
I don't
up.
know. Yeah.
I hope that's what it is, a remake. I'm just wondering if that at some point, because like they've been remaking all these Resident Evil games. Like, are we gonna get a Resident Evil Zero remake, a Resident Evil One remake, or Code Veronica remake? Like that's what I want. I want a Code Veronica remake because that Code Veronica game
Yeah.
was
I thought that was like the
stuck.
whole like not like the rumor, but like yeah, a lot of like or even like I mean no, I know like they already technically they I mean they remat or redone the first one, but I mean thought they were gonna do that again, but
Oh,
I don't know.
Resident Evil One. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, they there's that remake on the GameCube. They came out for
Yeah.
the GameCube, and then it did get re-released for uh, at least Xbox One, PS4, and all this stuff. But no, I mean, I'm talking about like the remakes to make them more in line to the current ones.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, yeah.
Because yeah, I think they found a good formula on how a third-person Resident Evil game should be played. Like the way they've been doing them. I think that's the way forward. Is if you make a third-person Resident Evil game, this is how it plays. If they want to do a first-person Resident Evil game, I think Village is the way to go. more action oriented, less puzzles. I know people like the survival horror elements of Resident Evil where it's like, oh, but I think at this point with Resident Evil, you kind of have to lean more into the action stuff. I just think that that's the way to go when it comes to a Resident Evil game
Yeah,
because
I feel like the horror, yeah, is like not as big of a selling point. Like the action is where what people want.
mhm. I don't know, I could be wrong. Maybe people do want that and that's why. But like, I mean, didn't the Dead Space remake not really sell that well? And the Resident Evil games,
Yeah, well,
the
they're
remakes
saying it
are
just
obviously
didn't.
selling well enough because they
Yeah,
keep making them.
yeah. I feel like EA put unrealistic sales goals
That's
on
probably true.
the
Well,
Dead
okay.
Space.
I mean, what was it called? The Callisto Protocol, right? That didn't sell well either, right? And that was supposed to be like a return to like that
Well, but
style
also, I
of.
mean, like it was an okay game. I played it. I think I bought it off GameFly for like $10. I didn't. I don't think they did a good job. Mark. I didn't even know Josh. Like, even though like I didn't even know Josh Duhamel was like the main character. Like they mocapped his whole face and body and
Oh yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Didn't even know that till like fucking like I got the game. I was like, oh shit, that's Josh Duhamel. I just feel like they didn't do a good job of like promoting that game.
I mean,
So
obviously there's still a
and the
market for
gameplay was
survival
weird.
horror.
Like the gameplay it played weird too. Like the controls were like the way you had to like dodge and stuff like that. Like it was just kind of weird.
Obviously, no, but there is still a market for survival horror. Like if you're on Steam, there's indie games that do that. Like there's even like
Yeah.
a game. What is it called? There's a game that like is a throwback to classic Resident Evil games. I don't remember. It's actually on the Series X. You can buy it, but I don't remember what it's called. I'm trying to remember. And then there's like other games, more like that are like 8-bit looking, 16-bit looking, and stuff like that. Obviously yes, there's a market for for that, but I think Resident Evil at this point, you just got to kind of lean more into the. I mean, just have a good mixture. I think like Resident Evil 4 or like Village is a good mixture of like like having the scary stuff, but you're a little bit more actiony. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. They'll probably announce something this year. I mean, it's been rated by the ESRB. I don't know when it would come out, but Capcom loves money, obviously. Now, if they could just start bringing out more Mega Man games, or remake
Nah.
the Mega Man games and make them look like Mega Man 11, I would love that. I don't know. I feel like Capcom is kind of focusing too much on like three franchises: Monster Hunter, Resident Evil, and Street Fighter.
Yeah. Probably. I mean, like, yeah, I think that's, yeah, kind of what they're doing right now. But
Because like, what else? Like, yeah, they have other games that come out. I mean, like, we'll talk about it later, but like, they're gonna have the Onimusha game, Way of the Sword. There's like the Onimusha remakes or re-releases or whatever, more remasters. There we go. So I mean, there's stuff coming out that Capcom has, but like, Capcom has a lot of other franchises that they could like be focusing on or putting games out. And the thing is, we were talking about this last week. They don't have to make AAA games all the time. They could find a studio that's like, "Hey, we want a new Mega Man game. Can you make us a Mega Man game? Here's a small budget. Give us a good game. Take your time because we want a good game. We're not going to sell it for a lot. There you go." Or, I mean, we're getting Onimusha back. I'm trying to think of what else Capcom has because it's been a long fucking time. Like Ghosts and Goblins, Can we get a new Ghosts and Goblins game?
yeah, it's like that. Like, just a side scroller on the arcade doesn't need to be
Yeah, it's just a
anything
downloadable only
crazy.
game that like costs like $30, $40 or whatever. Or I know Capcom had a lot of beat 'em ups. Like you could bring out new beat 'em ups. I don't know if they've actually been doing that, but yeah. I don't know. We don't just need Resident Evil, Monster Hunter, and Street Fighter all the time. But I mean, we were talking about earlier. Like that golden age is gone. When are we gonna get?
Yeah,
I think this is Capcom. When are we gonna get a new that guy with the arm, Bionic Commando, right? That's Capcom, right?
yeah, that's Capcom. I think when the arm ended, like at that, like when they tried to do the 360 game, and then the
And the
fucking
arm
his
turned out to
arm
be
was
his
like his
wife.
wife. Yeah, I think that I think that kind of
Fuck
killed
the
the franchise, even though
franchise.
it wasn't terrible. Like, yeah, like even though the game itself wasn't that bad, I think that being in there, people were like, "Ooh, that's fucking weird." But
Yeah,
who
we need
knows?
more. I mean, but like if we talk about like all these big publishers, they all have focus on their like this is what makes us money. This is what we're gonna focus on. Maybe we'll give you a new game in this series, but yeah, like Capcom, we already mentioned what it focuses on. Sega's what Sonic, and that's it. What else does Sega focus on?
Um, what else does Sega focus on? I don't know. That sounds about right.
Yeah, and then Konami doesn't even really Metal Gear's their stuff. That's what they really focus on. Castlevania is, but I mean, Konami's more like trying to make
Yeah,
it.
they might now after Silent Hill had success. Maybe that'll be a focal point for them.
Yeah. And then we got Square Enix. That's like basically Final Fantasy, and other RPGs that are basically Final Fantasy without being Final Fantasy.
Yeah,
Because I don't know if they make anything else, if they put out anything else. Like, yeah. I mean, oh man, you're making me think about it more and more. Like, yeah, we really are not. We are really past that golden age where we were getting so many awesome franchises. Fuck, like EA doesn't even focus on anything but sports nowadays. If anything does get released,
yeah,
they don't want like, oh no, it just failed. Dragon Age failed. Oh, Mass Effect failed. Oh, this failed. Battlefield failed.
yeah. I feel like when we do get kind of like the niche titles, like I don't know, like God, what was that EA game that came out where you could kind of it was like a first person shooter, but you use like magic.
Oh yeah,
I don't know.
Immortals of Avium.
Yeah, like that was a decent game. But like I feel like they're like it undersold. So then they're like, yeah, fuck that shit. Like we're not making that anymore. Like you
Yeah,
assholes didn't go out and buy it. It's just like, okay, we like you set it up for failure. Like the fuck you mean? Like, yeah, it didn't like meet sales expectations or whatever, but like shit, like there was no shot it was gonna reach that. Like so I don't know. It's kind of just it's disappointing just because like yeah, like they're like, okay, we tried, but you guys obviously don't care. It's like, well, we do, but like,
you have to give us
I don't
something
know. So
good
we
at the same
can't. We
time.
well, it was, but the thing it was just an okay game. Like you can't sell if that game came out. I bet you if they were like it was $40 or whatever,
I think that's what it is.
and
Yeah. See,
if they were like it was $40 and like decent playthrough and like because they had like there was like like you could recognize some of the actors in it. Like I don't know if you watch Suits.
no.
Well, there's like a couple actors from like that were in there and stuff like that. So I'm like, there's like there were actors in there. So it's just like I don't know.
But this is the thing I was talking about. Like, can you imagine if Immortals of Avium they were like, it's gonna be a double A game. We'll give you, $100 million, make the game, and we're gonna sell it for like 40, $50. And so like they just focus on making a good game. Maybe it doesn't look great. It kind of looks a little iffy, but it plays great and it's a decent enough story. Then yeah, we wouldn't be talking about like, yeah, this game failed. Stuff like that. Like that's the issue is that we don't publishers think Nope, we got to put 2, 3, 400 million dollars into this, and it needs to make way too much money back because we have to sell
Yeah.
the game for $70. That's why, like, we haven't really talked about it, right? But I mean, I guess we did talk about it, what, 2 weeks ago or something, where it's like, yeah, publishers are like secretly hoping at some point they could sell games for $100. It's like, fuck no, you're not gonna sell games for $100.
Yeah. Fucking better not. Cause it's just like, yeah, I mean, like we briefly mentioned, I think we talked about it last week. It's like, yeah, GTA, like you could kind of fucking see that maybe with GTA, because it's just like, okay, like they make their game, they're massive games, but like you're telling me you're gonna come out like and you're gonna be like, oh yeah, we think FIFA should be $100. I'm like, you guys can suck my asshole if you're thinking you're gonna sell me like Madden and FIFA for like
a hundred
fucking
bucks.
$100
I
every
mean, they
year. It's
already
like
do basically with like special editions and stuff.
I know, but the base will be $100. And it's like you guys can fucking suck my asshole if that's what you want to fucking do. Is
They can lick my asshole clean if that's what they.
too
Yeah, I don't know. We'll
much.
see what happens. We'll see. You never know. If it gets to it, then that's when we might actually have a full-on gaming crash.
Yeah, but that's the thing is, but then like I think people like, especially if you raise the price of games up to $100, like that's when you're really gonna see people like stick to their subscription models. Because like, okay, you're like shit, like I can't afford to buy this game for $100, but I can just fucking wait and like get it, like wait and hope it goes on GameStop or Game Pass or PlayStation Plus at some point. Like I don't have the money to buy it. I'm just gonna wait for it to go on one of these subscription services because it's like yeah. I mean, if you can't go to the movie theater and watch, but it's like you can afford like a Disney Plus subscription or bum that
You know
off
what?
or just
Yeah,
like just wait for
yeah.
it. You just wait for it to come on the subscription service if you can't afford to go to the movie theater. Like you said, it's like $18 in the movie theater. You're gonna go in, you're gonna smell the popcorn, you're gonna want popcorn, you're gonna want a soda. So it's just like it's
No,
all these
that's the
things where
thing.
it's just like
No. What you're saying? Yeah. So I went to the movies. It was me and my dad. I was like, I'm gonna go take him to go see the Captain America movie.
thanks
I
for the
had free
invite.
tickets, but I had free tickets. I guess because it's a new movie, I had to spend $1.50 each. Whatever. So I ended up spending $3 total for the tickets. And then I was like, you know what? My dad bought himself popcorn and soda. I was like, I'm gonna get myself a popcorn soda. I got a small popcorn and a medium soda or whatever. $23.
Yeah,
$23 for a small popcorn and a small soda. Actually, I got a small soda. It's $23. You imagine, like, if I didn't have free tickets and I like if I'm taking a date, you know, like I said, yeah, tickets are probably what around 18-ish dollars. I don't know exactly the prices. I think I've seen $18, so it's like $36 right there. 20, So now if I have to get a large popcorn and a large soda, or maybe two small sodas and a large popcorn, or whatever, that's probably going to be like an extra $30, 30 to $35 or whatever. Because it was just $23 for small popcorn and small soda.
yeah,
You're spending fucking like $70 at that point to go see a movie, and like maybe I don't want to spend that. It's the same thing with video games. Like, okay, you're gonna charge me $100 for this video game. Do I even know if it's gonna be good? I'm not like everything is getting so expensive, and these companies are not realizing that, like, when they just see like, oh, we're not making enough money, what are we gonna do? Well, I guess we're just gonna have to raise the price and do this that, or no, now we're just gonna have to only focus on this, the big
yeah.
stuff
Only
that makes it.
focus on game or focus on season passes and all this shit. And it's just like,
It's like that's part of why you're not making enough money because you're focusing on the wrong things. And if
mm-hmm.
you're not, if you're, if like I know I'm gonna buy Elden Ring Night Ring, and it's probably gonna be $70. I don't know. Actually, it's $50, I think. So whatever. Okay, let's not go with that. I know I would buy the next Gears of War game. That'll most likely be $70. Obviously, I don't have to buy it because of Game Pass. But let's say Game Pass, you know, wasn't a thing. I know I would buy it because I liked, I have liked all the Gears games, and I have liked Gears of War 4, and I have liked Gears of War 5, Gears 5. So the next game from that developer, I know is going to be good. But then you have like, oh, we're going to charge you $70 for the new Assassin's Creed game, but there's been like bad Assassin's Creed games and good Assassin's Creed games. So it's like, are we getting the good Assassin's Creed or are we getting the bad Assassin's Creed? Or you get like, we're gonna charge you $70 for Call of Duty every fucking year. It's like, okay, but like Call of Duty's not always great. This year, Black Ops 6, great game. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 the year before, or last year actually. Last year's Call of Duty. The year before that, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, not so good. So instead of it is a thing of like, you know, there has to be. It just seems like they want to put out something and charge $70 when instead of like, okay, we're gonna charge $70 for this, let's just make sure it's good. And I know that there's like a certain level of, like corporate meddling that has fucked games up and stuff, but like, you know, I don't know. It's just there's so much that needs to be fixed and so much involved. Like obviously it's not an easy thing that people could just overnight fix and it's just gonna get better within a year or so. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Fix it, Everett.
I will do my best to fix it. All right, let's go ahead and move to the next thing. So next God of War game. So we're getting rumors of a new God of War game that apparently would be set back in Greece with a younger Kratos. I don't know if this would be like a prequel or if maybe they want to reboot the series. But this is the reports that are coming out right now. What would you want to see?
Well, if they do a younger, like, I don't know, like, I kind of do, like, if they did a reboot and it's like a younger version of him in Greece or whatever, like, that'd be fun for me because, like, I don't know, like, is it gonna go back and playing like the other ones? That would be cool because not that, like, I don't think the newer ones played good, but I really like the old ones, so that would be fun for me. But that's just me. I mean, any new God of War, any God of War new reboot, or I mean, I thought the whole thing. I thought that he was supposed to be going to Egypt to go fuck up all those gods. I thought that was the rumor.
Yeah, that was what was like. Yeah, the rumors coming out that Egypt, right? Yeah, it was going to be the next. But I mean, this it seems like maybe they're just like, why go further with more? Maybe they think they finished their story. That's what it is. Like especially like I haven't played it yet, but there's that DLC for God of War Ragnarok. Maybe they just think they finished it, and they like if they're gonna make more God of War games, it has to be a reboot.
Yeah, maybe.
So I don't know.
Yeah, or I mean, like maybe they're doing like a Gears thing. Like even though maybe they're making two God of War games, like maybe they're going back to
You know
the
what? That would
the
actually be
classic
funny. No, what you're saying
and
would be funny if I've always I've always maintained that because they both have the same acronym GOW, God of War and Gears of War, and they've done similar things. where it's like they had their trilogy, and then the next game. I mean, if you don't count the PSP titles, if you just count big titles, they had their trilogy. Then the next game was a prequel. Both did that with God of War Ascension and Gears of War Judgment. Then the next two games are sequels with a new, with the the kid of the main character from the previous, well, I mean, you're still playing as Kratos in the new God of Wars, but obviously Atreus is a huge character, and even you play as him in parts of God of War Ragnarok. And not only that, but he has a beard, and Marcus had a beard in the new games. And now, if it turns out like, oh, it's not a reboot, like oh no, we're just going back, and it's gonna be another prequel game, it'd be hilarious because the next Gears game is a prequel game. Like the parallels between these two have always been hilarious to me, of how they just kind of do the same thing. I mean, they're wild. I
Yeah,
mean, wildly different games, but like how they go about their story.
yeah. No, I know what you're saying, but yeah, no, it would be. Like I said, any God of War is good God. Like if you're gonna, like if you're just like any new God of War, I will take.
I know, yeah. I,
Um,
I just want more God of War, which
yeah, so I mean, like I said, they might be making two. Maybe there's the Egypt one and like the I don't know, going back
I don't.
to
I hope they
Greece.
do release a God of War game this year. It's the 20th anniversary. In March, I think. I think the first game came out in March of 2005. I'd have to look that up, but like, can we get like something to celebrate? Well, that's why I was like, oh man, I would love for them to do like, here's the God of War like saga on your PlayStation 5. Like, give me that. I don't want to have to stream God of War 1 and 2 and Ascension. You can't even stream God of War Chains of Olympus and Ghost of Sparta on the PlayStation 5, which is going to make it very hard for me. I'm probably going to have to buy a PlayStation 3 so I could do, because I want to do, I plan on doing a God of War, like, not a retrospective, but like a celebration of the series on my personal channel for the
Celebration
20th,
Charlie Murphy.
yeah, for the 20th anniversary of the series. But like, yeah, it's the 20th anniversary. Like, let's get something. That's why I kind of think Gears of War E Day is going to come out next year, not this year, because the 20th anniversary of Gears is next year. So, so I'm looking it up. Yeah, it came out March 22nd, 2005. God of War 1.
Yeah, nice.
So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I want more God of War. I'm right there with you. Like we both share very similar tastes in what our favorite Xbox franchise is. Or not similar. We share the exact same taste in what our favorite Xbox franchise is and what our favorite PlayStation franchise is. And they both are GOW.
It's true.
Those games have, you know, yeah. All right, let's go ahead and move to this next thing. Oh, we already talked about this, so I'm going to take this off our little list. The Night Rain launch. Yes, Night Rain launches May 30th. We already talked about that. You know, you and I are both not big fans of this, so we could talk about this real quick. There's going to be a Netflix Dungeons and Dragons series from the guy who directed Deadpool and Wolverine. I think his name's Sean Levi, Sean Levy. I
Yeah,
don't know. Um,
one of the way, one of the two.
yeah, it's going to be a live action series. It's reportedly in the works for Netflix. I don't know. I mean, we talked about this last week, right? That Dungeons and Dragons, what Honor Among Thieves or whatever it was called, movie with Chris Pine. I liked it. It was funny. Maybe if they do something similar to that, where they're like, hey, let's lean into the comedy more and maybe do something like that. I mean, they got the guy who did Deadpool and Wolverine. He's supposedly doing it. So maybe they do want to lean into that like action comedy, which I think they should do. Because how many action comedies do you get set in a fantasy setting? They're very few and far between. You know, it's everyone wants to be like Game of Thrones. I would actually like that. It'd
True.
be a very different, pace for a show. Now, if it ends up being good, it will be something else. But I don't know. I don't know. Like I said. I mean, you and I aren't big like Dungeons and Dragons fans, D&D fans. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But also
I mean,
too,
if
the
it
thing.
comes out and it's funny, like, I mean, why not? Like, I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, if Netflix by that time isn't charging fucking nearly $30 at that point. Because well, how much is
Yeah.
Netflix now for?
I mean, if you buy the 4K, I mean, like, I don't know if it's gone up officially yet, but the 4K version is gonna be 25, gonna be or is $25
That's
right now.
fucking ridiculous, dude.
Yeah, I downgraded our subscription to the like with ads only, so it's like it's gonna be like $8.
Yeah, at this point, I think I'd be like, you know what? Fuck it, give me the
And
ads.
the ads are, and then like, and the ads aren't terribly like
Well,
terrible,
so
like long. It's not like they're like 2.5 minutes or whatever, but like
I've
it's not
actually,
it's not bad.
I've actually been able to like when if I was watching something and there was ads in between, I've actually been able to like withstand it and like I'm like fine because I just end up going on my phone.
Yeah,
I'll go on Twitter, look up what stuff, go on Instagram. I just go on my phone. There's always something to look up on my phone, on Twitter or whatever. And I I think that's why I'm like, you know what? I'm fine with ads. Like it's $8, right? Yeah, you said for the Netflix.
yeah,
I think I'd be fine. Yeah, $8. Okay, okay, all right, cool. Here's $8. I'll take your Netflix tier that has $8. It's $8. Has ads, whatever. I'll just go on my phone when an ad comes up. Cause like I mean I pay like $18 or something like that, $17, so I could have
yeah,
YouTube Premium. But I pay for YouTube Premiums because I also have it gives me YouTube Music, so it's like a 2 for 1 kind of thing going on. So I don't mind it, but I'll be damned if I'm gonna pay you fucking $25. Also, two thing is like I don't care about 4K that much. Like I swear I watch stuff in 1080p and it doesn't look that much like different compared to 4K. I mean, I could see the difference when I do watch something in 4K, but it's not like stuff that I watch in 1080p is that bad. Especially because like I think my TV, like it's one of those smart TVs that has like different modes, and I think it does like its own upscaling, so it makes it
hmm
look a little bit better. So yeah,
yeah. Like it's just, I mean, I don't know where the fuck Netflix gets off. Like they're like, yeah, we're definitely gonna charge you $25, and like Netflix is one of the few subscription services. Like I was talking to my wife about it. Like they're one of the few services that like you can't just like upfront and pay for a fucking year. They're just like, go fuck yourself. Like it's like damn. Like at least with Disney, like and a few other. I mean, I know Peacock. Like Peacock, I'm gonna keep changing my email with them because every Black Friday, like I got $20 through Peacock for a year with ads. I'm like, yeah, I don't for $20 for like a streaming service for a whole year. I'm like, who gives a shit? Like it's a great deal.
yeah.
So yeah, just don't know where Netflix gets off. Like I really hope a lot of people drop Netflix. Like just tell like no, this is not acceptable behavior. What you guys are doing.
And we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and move to this next thing. EA, good old Electronic Arts. Uh, Former EA Chief Creative Officer Bing Garden. He was on the Grit podcast recently, and he was talking about these franchises and things that basically they passed up that Activision ended up getting. Uh, this is an article on IGN. I'll just read part of it. apparently EA quote unquote passed on buying a number of blockbuster Activision Blizzard games, including Call of Duty, Guitar Hero, and even World of Warcraft developer Blizzard. That's according to former EA Chief Creative Officer Bean Gordon, who said on the Grit podcast that Call of Duty, Guitar Hero, Blizzard, etc., EA saw all those first and passed on all of them. Um, and then talking to former Activision boss Bobby Kotick, Bean said, "This is why I have double high respect for Kotick, saying, no, this is going to be good to own. And then you kept the people around. Quote, I'm pretty sure that some of those companies, the creative leaders, would not have stuck around for a company other than Activision. So you did some kind of miracle keeping them productive for long periods of time." Um, then it talks about the merger between Blizzard and Vivendi Games and then Activision that created Activision Blizzard. Um, yeah, this according to Gordon, EA was among the publishers approached to buy Blizzard ahead of the merger, but EA declined. While Guitar Hero has fallen by the wayside, Call of Duty and World of Warcraft continue to make millions with okay, blah blah blah. Oh, during the same interview, Kotick said EA tried to buy Activision and Blizzard several times. Gordon said, while you were doing Blizzard, that EA passed on, and you were doing King, EA did PopCap, just stupid things. So yeah, looks like EA could have before it happened, before Activision had their hands on them, could have had Call of Duty, Guitar Hero, World of Warcraft, or just Blizzard games. I I just I don't really know what to say to that.
Yeah, it's kind of like it sounds like they tried, but I don't know, wasn't gonna happen. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. It's like revisionist history. Like if and buts were candy and nuts, like
Well, I mean,
what was gonna happen?
can you imagine the timeline where they did now they're because obviously they had Battlefield already when Call of Duty was made or coming out. So imagine they ended up like, no, we'll publish Call of Duty and Guitar Hero. Oh yeah, and we'll buy Blizzard. So now they have
Yeah,
Battlefield and Call of Duty under their banner, all stuff. But maybe it still even kind of goes the same, and Microsoft buys EA instead of Activision.
yeah.
I
Maybe
mean,
that timeline's better than the one we're on right now. So
I don't know, yeah. But yeah, I just think it's hilarious because EA's always been EA. I mean, like, you've seen that where like they were voted like the worst company in the world or something
yeah.
for some time, which I'm like, really?
I mean they've been voted that quite a few
Yeah,
times.
quite a few. Which I'm like, really? They are maybe not the companies that use like sweatshops and child labor, but whatever. Hey, they wanted to charge you money for online passes. That's
Yeah.
worse, I guess.
Yes. That's worse than sweatshops, man.
That's worse. Yeah, I don't know. EA's done some smart stuff, like you know ha- purchasing Bioware. Then Bioware brought out some good games. They let Visceral Games make Dead Space. They had some good stuff, but then or like you know what? We're gonna publish Titanfall. We believe in this or whatever. But then they do stupid stuff like no, we're gonna release
Like not
Titanfall
make
2
Titanfall 3.
or make Titanfall 3 or just everything else they seem to do. Like
Mm-hmm.
or like, oh no, we're gonna purchase sole rights to football. So now no other football games. It's always just Madden. Yeah, EA's so like back and forth. Just I don't know, but I don't know. You think if they ended up with Call of Duty, it would have been a yearly thing, or you think they
Oh
might have?
yeah.
It still would be yearly. You think?
I think so, yeah. I think whoever owned that IP, no matter what. Like once they found out the cash cow that it is, I think that was destined to be.
I don't know. I think it wouldn't have been yearly. I think what we would have got was here's this year's Battlefield and here's this year's Call of Duty, like back and forth, back and
Yeah,
forth. I think that's what might
yeah,
have would have happened.
maybe that and like I don't know, that might have been nicer. But I mean, at that point, it's still just a
Or
yearly release of a military shooter.
or maybe Battlefield would have died, or maybe the Call of Duty name would have died, and we just get Battlefield every year, and it's between or Call of Duty every year, and it's just between Dice and oh my god, I'm forgetting the developer, Infinity Ward, and it's just now there's no Call of Duty, now there's no Battlefield, now it's just back and forth, like it's just Battlefield, and Infinity Ward makes this year's Battlefield, and then Dice makes this year's Battlefield, or it's just Call of Duty, and vice versa, whatever. I don't know. I mean, they're military shooters, yes, but they are different enough. Like Battlefield obviously is the big scale, like large scale warfare game like that. Whereas Call of Duty's always been, I mean, they've dipped their toes into it, but like it's always been more of the just like more close quarters, like small scale, just get there quick action, uh, military shooter. But I don't know what could have been. Maybe we would have
Yeah,
kept getting Guitar Hero games. Probably not, though.
yeah, probably not.
Probably not. All right, let's go ahead and move to actually a game that was published by EA at one point, Crysis. Well, Crytek actually. So, Crysis 4 is being put on hold as its director has left Crytek, and Crytek has also laid off 50% of its staff to stay quote unquote financially stable. They put out a tweet as well talking about this. So, quote, quote unquote, like so many of our peers, we aren't immune to the complex, unfavorable market dynamics that have hit our industry these past several years. It pains us greatly to share today that we must lay off an estimated 15% of around our 400 employees. I guess that's what going to be like 60 people. The layoffs affect development teams and shared services. This has not been an easy decision to make as we deeply appreciate the hard work of our talented teams. After putting the development of the next Crysis game on hold in Q3 2024, we have been trying to shift developers over to Hunt Showdown 1896. That's like their live service game, I think. I haven't really played it. I haven't played it at all. So I don't even hear much about that game.
I haven't really played it. I haven't played it at all,
No, I don't
thankfully.
know why I said really played it because I was thinking something else. While Hunt Showdown 1896 is still growing, Crytek, I don't know about that. Crytek cannot continue as before and remain financially sustainable. Even after ongoing efforts to reduce costs and cut operating expenses, we have determined that layoffs are inevitable to move forward. Crytek will offer affected employees severance packages and career assistance services. We firmly believe in the future of Crytek. With Hunt Showdown 1896, we have a very strong gaming service and remain fully committed to its operation. We will continue to expand and to evolve Hunt Showdown with great content and drive our strategy for our engine, Cry Engine. End quote. Yeah. So another story about more layoffs in the gaming industry. And
Yeah,
now Crysis 4, is in trouble, which to me is,
that's a
you
damn
know,
shame, Mister Hat.
well, I like the Crytek games. Like when they re-released them uh on the it was for the Series X and PlayStation 5, right? Not Xbox One. Actually, it might have been Xbox One and PlayStation 4. But when they did those re-releases, I played them. I played through them. I like those games. The Crysis games are fun. I even enjoy like Crysis 2 and 3. People don't really like them as much because Like if you play Crysis 1, it's clearly more of a open world. Like yeah, and Crysis 2 and 3 are more. Well, Crysis 3 did brought it back a little bit more to the open world stuff, but Crysis 2 is more linear. Yeah, I'm a little bit sad. Like, because the thing is, Crytek makes some pretty good games. Like, it's not just Crysis. Like, they have released other stuff that, like, you know, they. I've been wanting a new Rise Son of Rome forever. You know,
Mm-hmm. That's
or
never happening.
yeah, it's never gonna happen.
That IP's dead.
I mean, it doesn't have to be. I like the first one.
The IP is dead. Leave it alone over it. It's never happening.
I like Warface. It's a stupid name, but Warface is pretty fun. I mean, they have other games too. I've never played like The Climb or Robinson: The Journey or whatever. And then there's their Hunt Showdown game. You know what? I think I did play it, but I might have played like one or two matches. I'm not too positive. I swear I remember playing something like it, but yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
I mean, because like so, I remember they were developing the second Homefront game, and then they because it was because it was where it was it was a Crytek studio, but I don't remember what they were. Then they just like shut it down, but then that studio just became Dam Buster Studios and made the second Homefront the Revolution. Like it was supposed to be a Crytek, and if you played it, that Homefront the Revolution, like it clearly was like it's a cry. I think it still uses CryEngine, but like the way like I don't know if you remember how like the Crysis like if you even play the Crysis games, but they have that where it's like you hold a I want to say like the X button or square if you're on PlayStation, and the character's looking at the gun, and you can like put different attachments on it while you're in the actual game. They do that in Homefront: The Revolution. So like yeah, I like the CryEngine. It's a good engine, and I like Crytek games. I'm just very sad that if we don't get another Crysis game, or if Crytek goes under, like I would actually very much hate that.
Would you cry?
Oh my god. Why? Just why? Okay, we're moving to the next thing. Fuck you. All right, we got one more, and then we're gonna. This is similar. Or this is gonna has to do with it, Sony, but we'll talk about the Sony State of Play after this one. Uh, Sony. This is just a report. Not nothing's been confirmed, but reportedly they might not hold a summer showcase this year. Sony and I don't know, man. I kind of don't care.
I mean, the only reason that kind of bums me out because I'm like, that's less likely you might announce like a God of War game. So that's the only reason I'm like,
Yeah, I guess that's
please,
true. Yeah, you're right on
please
that
have a
one.
showcase so you could possibly announce games that I want. Please. That's my only like thing. It's like, oh,
But also,
you're
like
gonna.
this generation has been kind of bad for them. Like they've had games. I hate that narrative because like I remember the Xbox One generation had this narrative too that Xbox wasn't releasing games even though they were releasing games. They just weren't releasing games like left and right like Sony was doing. Now it looks like the script is flipping and like yeah, Sony's like people are saying like oh Sony's not PlayStation's not releasing games. They're releasing games. They're just not releasing a lot of games like they did last generation. And now Xbox seems to be the one. I mean, just in these next few months, We're getting what South of Midnight. Avowed is coming out this Tuesday. Um, I am forgetting. There's something coming out in the next 2 months too, that Xbox is releasing. But Indiana Jones just came out not too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know they bought studios that were like these games are most likely already being made. Well, maybe not Avowed, but like, or even maybe not South of Midnight, but like Indiana Jones was most likely being made, and some of these games were most likely already in development or whatever and whatnot. But like, yeah, like they're starting to release games left and right. Maybe yeah, they are doing third party publishing, but they're still releasing games. You know, but yeah, it's just this is making it look like that Sony's just like running out of steam with what they're doing. And I mean, we've talked about it too. Like, keep talking about it. We keep talking about it. How it just gets more expensive to make games, and you know, big publishers only want to focus on what is going to make money. Unless it's a studio they know will always make something that's going to sell.
It's very true.
Yeah. So then they can make different games because they know all their games are going to make money because the studio name behind it is what matters. Kind of like FromSoft. Like, although, I mean, yeah. And, I mean, Sekiro is different enough from Souls games. And then, of course, there's oh my God, it's Armored Core, right? Or no, not Armored Core. It was an Armored Core game, right? Why am I forgetting what they made?
FromSoft?
FromSoft.
Yeah, they made an Armored Core
Yeah,
game.
that last game that came out not too long ago. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, they don't have a summer showcase. Yeah, yeah, maybe if they don't, I mean, if they don't have a summer showcase, they still could have a state of play that's gonna announce a new God of War game. It's not like they can't announce stuff at state of play,
Yeah.
but it would just be a smaller scale. Like, we'll just talk about this, or maybe they just put out a trailer, like, oh yeah, or a press release. Yeah, we're announcing a new game. We're gonna have a state of play focus on this game. I don't know. You don't have to necessarily have a big summer showcase, I think, nowadays. I think you can do that and there's focus on stuff throughout the year. I think big summer showcases are more just for show. And it's just like, oh, here's what we're gonna be releasing. But like, you know, it's just to build hype when you could just build hype for specific games or like focus on a handful of games with like, an Xbox Direct, a State of Play, a Nintendo Direct, and stuff like that. But
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's just like, I don't know. Hopefully they show off some good
well,
shit
the thing
soon.
is too. I mean, does Sony really need to do its own showcase? I mean, Jeff Keighley's such a fucking dick sucker for Sony. Like he'll just like, oh yeah, yeah, you could show all your games at my Summer Games Fest. They don't need to. Like they got their ball gargler in Jeff Keighley. You know, look, hey, I'm being crass in my language about him, but come on, dude. Like, come on, Jeff Keighley. Do we really need to mince words with like that? He's a Sony fanboy. He's a Sony fanboy. Like, it's okay to admit it. I know
No.
some people want to be like, I see some people online like, no, he's not really. He's a Sony fanboy, and that's fine. It's completely fine for him to be a Sony fanboy. Like that's why I don't take his game awards seriously. Like, oh, Astrobot's gonna win Game of the Year. Yeah, okay. Like he doesn't like to put out like negative stuff about Sony that much, or if he does, it's like he like puts like a quick thing. Whereas like when it comes to Xbox, he's clearly like, oh yeah, Xbox. And then it's put more negative shit out. He doesn't really like to put a lot of positive stuff about Xbox out there. You can tell when he does, it's just like a quick like, oh yeah, Xbox released a cool game, cool. The only thing he's a bigger ball gargler of, well, it's not a thing, person is Hideo Kojima. Like
Yeah.
like he's like gay for Hideo Kojima. That's why he'll give him fucking. an hour to show nothing and talk about a new game.
Tell me how you really feel.
Dude, look, I appreciate Jeff Keighley for what he's trying to do with bringing video games to a wider audience and have it and give it a bigger like spotlight. But but he is not able to be objective enough. He is clearly his biasness shows way too much, and it it hurts like the quote unquote credibility of these things when you're clearly shown to like favor one side over the other, or like I said, favor a certain person over so much that you do stuff where it's like I'm gonna give him so much time to talk about this one thing that he barely shows anything about, when he could have just focused more on like more awards, or like instead of just like, oh yeah, this game won racing game of the year, and then this game won like something game of the year. Like he wants to focus on the wrong things, or he puts a focus on like things that are just like that hurt his Summer Games Fest and his Game Awards show. Again, I'm very appreciative of that he's trying to make games that much bigger, but he needs to be down the middle. Maybe he needs to just be the money man and he has a group of people running this shit and he just is in the background doing nothing. And he doesn't really have that much of a say. He's just the money guy and he's just, a hype man or whatever it is. But yeah, I don't know. Because yeah, again, I don't, it's just it's it's a little ridiculous, but it is what it is. You can't stop it.
You can only hope to contain it.
Yeah, something like that. All right then. So let's go ahead and talk about the state of play that what came out last Tuesday. Yes, it came out last Tuesday. Uh, quickly, I'm gonna run down what they showed. Then we'll talk about what stuck out to you, I guess. Well, to us. So they showed Borderlands 4, Darwin's Paradox. This is like you're playing as like an octopus or something. Dave the Diver, Ichiban's Holiday. I think this was a DLC, not an actual game. I don't remember. A Days Gone remaster. Oh, we're gonna talk about that. Digimon Story Time Stranger, which I'm very excited about. Directive 8020, another game I'm excited about. Now that's a game by the people who made like Until Dawn and The Quarry. It's a Dark Pictures game, so that's
Yeah.
pretty cool. Dreams of Another, Five Nights at Freddy's, Secret of the Mimic, Hell is Us, Lies of P Overture, which yeah, it is a DLC. I remember we were talking about it in the Discord.
Mm-hmm.
Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, Lost Soul Aside, Metal Eden, uh, a release date trailer for Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, which PlayStation leaked beforehand. Mind's Eye, Monster Hunter Wilds, Onimusha Way of the Sword, another game I'm excited about. Oh, and Onimusha 2 Samurai's Destiny, a remaster of that game. Some PlayStation Plus talk, what's coming to their game catalog. Sorrows from the people who made like Returnal, was it Housemark? Shinobi, that was pretty cool. Art of Vengeance. Sonic Racing Crossworlds, Split Fiction, a Splitgate. They showed Splitgate 2. Some Stellar Blade DLC. The Midnight Walk, which that game looks good, right? Like that whole clay animation. Like,
I think so.
yeah, that looks pretty cool. Ties of Annihilation, Warriors, Abyss, WWE 2K25. So, just first of all, what were your overall thoughts? What would you like grade it and everything? What was your overall thoughts of the state of play?
I thought it was good. It was a good mixture. I mean, not everything like I'm gonna want to play. Like WWE, I have like no interest in playing that. But I mean, like you got to show these games off for the people who are gonna
Well,
play those
what was
games.
it? It was a trailer for The Island, which is basically, that what is it called? I think it's called Blacktop in NBA 2K25, where it's just like you're
Yeah,
running around and with your created character and doing stuff. So
no. I mean, I think overall it was like it was a decent state of play. Like it
yeah,
wasn't
I'd give it like a
the
C,
yeah, like it wasn't
maybe
the
a D
best.
plus.
But yeah, I was thinking yeah, B minus for me. But no, I think overall it was decent. So I
Yeah,
was,
no,
I mean,
yeah, I thought
yeah,
yeah, it was okay. Like obviously not everything was to my liking, but that's always going to be the case. It's not every game is going to, but there was enough that I'm like, okay. I just wish that they. I mean, I get it's a state of play. It's not supposed to have like huge announcements, but I think they have to have like one very huge announcement. Like a game like Soros is not a huge announcement. Like people could make the argument like, well, they showed that game Soros. No, when I say a huge announcement, you gotta have your like, here's the God of War game, here's the Uncharted game,
yeah.
Last of
I think
Us.
that's kind of like what I was waiting for was like when's like the and obviously you're not going to get that with every showcase or every showing, but like I feel like it's been a while since like we've watched like a Sony thing. There's been like a like holy fucking shit, can you believe they announced that game? Like, that type of moment.
I don't even remember when they did that. When the last time they had that, I think it was that year where like they announced the Final Fantasy VII remake because there was like other stuff that was like, holy shit, they're bringing this back. Holy shit, they're bringing this back.
Yeah. So I think that's kind of like I mean like that's the reason why I feel like it's not like you don't get like an A, like unless we get like that holy fucking shit moment. So
I think that why I'm not even giving them a B, why it's a C. Because yeah, because like that's the thing too. Like, where is like a God of War announcement? You have to. Just one thing, unless because as far as I could, as far as I remember, I don't think they said anything about like curb your expectations. This is just gonna have some games, but it's not gonna be nothing too huge. But like you should just one huge announcement. Like it doesn't even have to be like a new God of War game. Like I said, why not come out with like, hey, we're doing a God of War uh, saga remastering for the PlayStation 5. Or the thing that people have been wanting for so long that people keep speculating about because they keep doing things where it's like, oh yeah, now they're taking out the mod and you can't do this or whatever. Like a Bloodborne remaster. We'll give you a Days
hmm
Gone remaster, but we're not going to give you a Bloodborne remaster.
yeah, exactly. I feel like if I feel like if they came out and they're like, here's a Bloodborne remaster, like I feel like we'd be like, holy
That's an
fucking
A.
shit, are you kidding
Yeah,
me?
that exactly. They came out
And
with
they could
like
have
this.
just and
It
they
doesn't
could have
even have to
just
be a
like
remake.
shown Hello Kitty fucking Mega Island or whatever
They
like
could have
after
showed
that.
a bunch of crap if they would have just had a Bloodborne remaster.
hmm
If they were like, here's a Bloodborne remaster, everything else could have been crap, but you get an A because holy shit, you're actually bringing us what we want. Or yeah, if they had like a God of War Saga announcement, or even like here's a brand new God of War game that's coming out, maybe not this year but next year. Like it's coming out next year, but we wanted to let you know. That's another one where it's like you get an
Yeah.
A. Or shit, because I actually do enjoy the Uncharted series. If they're like, here's Uncharted 5, like I think you have to have that like, oh shit moment. It has to be from one of your big hitters. It could, like or like Resistance trilogy remaster or Killzone, trilogy remaster, like something that brings back like an older franchise, one of the big ones, you know,
Yeah.
something that people clearly want. And don't get me wrong, like yeah, there was stuff that I'm very much looking forward to, but yeah, you kind of need to have a big hitter, like a nuke. You got to have a nuke. You just have to have one. When it's a state of play, you have to have one. I think that's why I enjoy the Xbox developer directs so much because we go into it with the expectation of this is what they're going to show. They don't they don't come out and be like we're going to have an Xbox direct and that's it. They're like, look, this is what we're talking about. And like even though they did like do that where it's like, oh, well, there is like a secret game. What was that secret game? Ninja Gaiden
Ninja
4.
Gaiden. Yeah.
And that's a holy shit moment.
Yeah, and then they're also like, oh, by the way, you can go fucking download Ninja
Ninja
Gaiden 2
Gaiden 2.
Black.
Yeah. That's a holy shit moment. That's what you do. Maybe you don't care about, South of
And they only showed
Midnight.
4 games.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Yeah. Maybe you
I
don't
mean,
care about
5
the
if
other
you include
games. But
Black
yeah.
too.
And
But
well,
yeah, I
Ninja
mean,
Gaiden 4, so 6 altogether, I guess.
yeah.
But it's like maybe you don't care about like I don't remember the games they showed, South of Midnight and all that other stuff or whatever. But if it's like, oh shit, they're bringing back Ninja Gaiden, that's like, yeah, oh shit, you're bringing back Ninja Gaiden. And this is gonna be the year of the ninja, dude. Ninja slash samurai. Like, we're
Yeah.
getting an Onimusha game, a new Onimusha game. Shinobi got, the Art of Vengeance or whatever it's called. It's a side scroller. I'll play it. But that got announced at the State of Play. Obviously, the Ninja Gaiden uh, game coming out. Like, we're getting. Oh, and then Assassin's Creed Shadows coming out soon. Like, we're getting that like ninja slash samurai stuff. Like force fed to us this year. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I think that's especially too because like Sony, like I said earlier, Sony doesn't seem to have a lot coming out. They kind of need to have like like they have to drop a bomb. They have to like for their state of play, and if they happen to not actually have a summer showcase this year, and it's just like they are part of Jeff Keighley's thing, you gotta have some kind of bomb. It can't just be like, here's like, oh yeah, no, this new game from Housemarque. Everyone loves Housemarque. Cool, but like Returnal wasn't like this like game changing thing in the industry like that. So like basically a sequel to Returnal is, I mean, even though it's not, it's more of I guess a spiritual sequel. Like it's not gonna move the needle like that. Like a Bloodborne remaster, a God of War announcement, an Uncharted announcement, or Killzone or Resistance, you know. Shit, I
Yeah.
think even if they announce like a new Ratchet and Clank game, people will be like, "Holy shit, a new Ratchet and Clank game, let's go." Like something from their like big catalog. They have enough people like studios, you know.
It's true.
But yeah. All right, let's go ahead and talk about like I don't know, what are the games that stuck out to you that you're like, "Oh yeah, this is what I want to play. I want to play these."
I feel like I'm gonna have to play. I don't know. Gotta get Hideo Kojima after I enjoyed. Um, I know he's not involved, but I feel like I gotta give Metal Gear Solid like that one.
Like I said, if there's going to
Um,
be a Metal Gear Solid game to play, Metal Gear Solid 3 is the game to play. And a remake is a good way to like as long as they don't fuck it up. Yeah. I think that would get you into maybe wanting to try the other Metal Gear Solid games, but we'll see.
yeah, let me go through the list. I mean, Borderlands. I'm gonna be interested, but I don't think I'm gonna buy Borderlands day one. I mean, especially if it's coming out this year, and we
Yeah.
all
That
know,
might be a
and we all
game.
know what other game is coming out this year that's really big. So it's just like
Yeah.
depending, and they know they around what was it like September
It's coming out
23rd,
September or
right?
something, yeah.
September 23rd. The only reason I remember it's my anniversary. So when
Yeah,
they
September
announced it, I was
23rd.
like, oh, that'll be that's easy to remember for me.
Yeah, I don't know why they
Um,
released it. Like we all know that GTA is releasing around that time. They're fucked.
so you better hope GTA is like in November. Um, so like people actually still buy your game.
Yeah.
But so I think that'll be one like we pick up later maybe and play. Um, But no, so like Borderlands, I mean, I've been interested. I mean, like we played all the things in that. I mean, I don't know. Like I feel like I need to give Days Gone a better
You know what?
shot.
So I was gonna tell you because I think we do the PlayStation sharing, right? I
Yeah,
pre-ordered
right
it.
on.
I spent the $10.
Okay. I
I
feel like I need to give that game a better shot. Like,
no, it's look. I didn't finish it because that's what happens when you have too many games to play. I didn't finish it because there's just so much that ends up happening and you end up playing other games. But what I was playing, I was very much enjoying it. It's a good game. It is a good game.
yeah, and that's
So
what I've
with the
heard. I've just heard that like it takes a little while to get like into like the really good stuff, and I think at the time I just didn't have like enough time to get into it. So I need to give that another shot. Um, so that I'm like interested in the Lies of P DLC. Like I enjoyed the Lies of P for like a little bit that I played, but I do really just enjoy playing the Souls games with the boys. So like that one, like it was fun, but like I was like, can't play this with anybody else. Like if they would announce that like Lies of P the DLC and now we've added in also you can do co-op, like holy shit, like we gotta all. I don't know if it's still on Game Pass, but I'd be like, holy shit, we gotta go, we gotta get this.
yeah, yeah.
Like Monster Hunter, I have no interest in. The Onimusha games, I never played, so like I know there's a big fan base behind that.
I haven't
Sonic
played them in
Racing,
years.
I
I need
remember
to
like I
have
played the
the
Sonic Racing
remaster
games. I mean, they're decent Mario Kart ripoffs.
clones. Yeah.
Stellar Blade DLC, it's fun for people who played it. Haven't played it yet.
They
Was
also
there just too
announced
much stuff to play?
that what that
I
trailer
think that's
also
like
was
the
like it's gonna be on PC.
yeah. I mean, I feel like most of that stuff is going to be either PC or also come on Xbox. Just
Oh
like, I
no,
mean,
Xbox put out a tweet. Basically, all those games except for like Sorrows,
yeah,
they're all gonna be on Xbox.
yeah,
Like
which
they
that makes
like
sense.
yeah, they already put out their like tweet saying like we can't wait to play, and then they put like they just listed all the games.
I'm sure Sony fucking loves that.
Yeah, I mean Sony's done it too, when they're like, oh yeah, we can't
Yeah,
wait to play this, and it's games that were shown on an Xbox thing or whatever.
yeah. And Xbox is like, yeah, we can't wait to fucking make money off you guys when they buy it on your system. You guys make the hardware and we sell it and make more money that way.
Yeah, no, like for me, Shinobi stuck out. I want to play that. I like those types of games. Um, you know, I like ninjas. I was a kid, grew up, and I like ninjas. Ninjas are cool. I think everyone kind of likes ninjas, so that should be, So
Especially if they're in turtle form.
hmm? Yeah,
I
exactly. Oh no,
said,
if especially if they're in turtle form, yeah. So yeah, that obviously stuck out to me. I didn't finish Lies of P, but I might actually go back and try and finish it, and most likely I'm gonna want to play that DLC. Um, you know, Directive 8020. I'm a huge, huge fan of that developer. Like I loved Until Dawn, The Quarry, all their like the Man of Medan and all that stuff, the Dark Pictures anthology. So Directive 8020. Now they're just making a sci-fi, version of the games they make. I am very much like yes, give me more, give me more. I'm blanking on the developer's name unfortunately, but like I like their games. Like I have not been disappointed in their games. I think I actually own all their games. So like yeah, give me more of Supermassive. That's the name of the developer. Yeah, Onimusha. Like this looks like it's gonna be more Souls like that new one, Onimusha Way of the Sword. Like which I'm fine with. I'll probably buy the Onimusha 2 remaster when it comes out. Yeah, there's Monster Hunter Wilds I don't care about. Mind's Eye I didn't care. There was a game though that I was like, oh, this looks interesting. I think it was Ties of Annihilation. It looks pretty cool. Um, Borderlands 4 is like whatever. Yeah, probably when it's like on sale at some point. We already talked about Days Gone. Digimon Story. I know, yeah, you're like, whatever. I love Digimon. Like, I played Digimon Survive uh on the Xbox, and it was awesome. I loved it. It got pretty dark. I have the Digimon Story game, Cyber Sleuth, on my Switch, and I haven't finished it yet. I think I'm actually pretty close to finishing it. I probably would just start it over though. Um, I'm a huge Digimon fan though. Like I even have like a Digivice, like one of those like actual Digimon like little Tamagotchi toy things.
Nerd.
Yeah. There was what this Dreams of Another. I didn't care about that one. Five Nights at Freddy's game. Hell is Us. Lost Soul Side. Yeah. Metal Eden. Yeah. The Metal Gear Solid. Like I want to play that. I like the Metal Gear Solid, at least the first four games. Split Fiction. I didn't like the trailer, but I do want to play it because it is, um, what do you call it? It's from I'm forgetting the name of that company, but they did like a Way Out. Um,
Oh yeah, what is? Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I feel like that one will be good.
um, what was the other? Hazelight Studios. That's the name of the company. But what was that? What was that one with the couple that wanted to get a divorce? We played it like 2 years
It
ago.
Takes Two.
It Takes Two. I like their games. I haven't played Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, but yeah, I like their games so far. So and their
Yeah,
co-op.
I mean, I loved when we like ripped that teddy bear. That was the fucking best.
Oh my God, yeah, that was Jesus.
Oh, that was great.
The Midnight Walk looks interesting. Like that style of game or that style they have with the claymation. Like I'm very for it. And then Splitgate too. Like I want to play Splitgate too. I like the first Splitgate. I thought it was very fun. If you like Halo and Portal, that's basically what it is. Halo and Portal with a portal gun. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I might play that Sonic racing game. I'm not big
I
into
mean,
those
it's
kart racers though.
yeah. I mean, maybe it'll come to Game Pass. I mean, like it's like it's fine or whatever. They're making another one, but am I like gonna be like, holy shit,
Dying to
guys,
play it. Yeah.
new Sonic game? Like it's cool. They're making another one, but I don't know. Like
Yeah. So yeah, that was the state of play for February 2025. Like I said, I gave it a C. You're more on the maybe B ish, but
yeah.
there's some games that will obviously we want to play and we'll get and all that. Um, and I think that's it then. There's nothing else to talk about unless you wanted to add something.
Mm, no, you suck, and that's a podcast. I think.
Oh my God. Okay, so that's gonna go ahead and finish out the podcast. So that was episode. Shit, I am very much confused on what episode it was. It's 43, right? That's what I said. Yeah,
Yeah,
episode
like
43.
your age minus 10.
Wow, wow.
What?
That was episode 43 of the Gaming Chamber podcast. I have been Everett. Devin, go
Old
ahead.
man.
Old man Everett. Devin, go ahead.
All right, see you nerds later.
Uh, oh my God, you and your, I don't know. All right, until next time.
I can say that I'm a nerd.
Get the fuck out of here. Until next time, we'll catch you later.